All right, welcome to this edition of Database Team Meeting. Jump right into it. See the container registry partitioning. Saw your notes, Giannis. Thanks for the update there. It's a high priority item for next week. So I don't know, was there any hot topics we should cover with container registry?
No, it was a preliminary discussion on, so I tried to understand and write some notes so that they are there for you, Patrick and Andreas, when he comes back, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can start drilling down on this issue. Hi, Jose.
Okay.
And the summary is more or less what we discussed last week also, that there is no natural partitioning key. From what I can see in my understanding is that there are like three chunks of different things inside the registry. So you have the repositories and the stuff around the repositories. You have manifests, and then you have the blobs. And unfortunately, there seems that there is no natural way to combine everything. And the second part was the problem of the access patterns, is that there is not a single type of access pattern. There are all those most of the read queries go with using a hash, either a manifest hash or a configuration hash, blob hash, a digest and hash, or there are some queries, especially for garbage collection, that go using IDs. So we have to think about it and check. So I wrote some ideas like making the digest the primary key. This is very expensive, or doing some denormalization. None of those solutions is optimal. I was just throwing some ideas out in the wild for everyone to think about it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll let Pat and Andreas talk about it next week while we're out.
Yeah.
I can't type. That reminds me, we should talk a bit about 13.4. All right.
But one important part that we discussed is that we should figure out the access pattern, and that if we don't have, even if we have a partition key, if the partition key is not used in all the queries, or at least the major queries, this is a problem.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, thanks for having those conversations with John. All right, yeah, we have the performance indicators meeting later on today, and we're not done, but thanks for the update on this issue, Giannis.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but most probably we won't make it. So
Yeah.
I will try to have as many things as possible ready, but my prediction is that we won't make it because we have until Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's quite a few dependencies there, right?
Yeah, the bad luck there was that after we initially discussed it, and I left it alone and did everything else, until I came back. When I came back, there was an update that removed one of the buckets from the histogram that we needed. So in order to run the metric, we need the bucket for 250 milliseconds and the bucket for 100 milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
And the scalability team just went and removed all the buckets that are not used right now. And because our update was not there, they normally, and that was very logical for them, they removed something like 7 or 6 buckets. And between those buckets is the one that we need. So the first MR is already submitted. It
Mm-hmm.
is bring back the bucket. And then we're going to run an hour, full hour, the next with the memory team that we're going to discuss this issue. So there will be a recording where we will discuss this issue and all the issue, whether we can release everything together, how we're going to do things. So probably there will be a nice recording later in the day.
Yeah, memory team just did similar work over the last probably milestone and a half. So there's a lot of context there that they'll be able to answer those questions. So thank you. So the next one up is the verify audits partitioning migration. It's not assigned. I know that we validated that triggers worked, everything was moved, and I believe the backfill worked. Is there anything else that needs to be done on this issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just gonna, that's kind of what I had been looking at. I can assign it to myself. I guess we have both done some work on it. So, but yeah, we were gonna try to do, we had talked about doing like a batch by batch kind of comparison of the two tables and go through and make sure everything matches the record counts and everything side by side.
Is that record counts?
Yeah, we just want to verify that, yeah, the partitions match and everything in the two tables.
And we are going to use similar code in our cleanup migration. Am I right, Patrick? So we're going to.
Well, it'll be a little different there because we're just going to use what the tracking table now, so we don't need to do the. But it'll be a similar concept, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. The development change database schema handling outside of structure SQL. Looks like there's still a related MR open.
Yeah, there was a follow-up. That's in the on the last review right now. So once that's merged, I think that the comments there have pretty much died down, so we can close it once the last MR gets merged.
Okay. Think it'll close this week before
It
Monday?
should. I mean, it's gonna. The last person will look at it today, I think. Hopefully, so hopefully we'll go through.
Okay. The index helpers don't respect the where clause. It doesn't look like any work's been done on this one. And considering Monday's the end of milestone, I was suggesting we move it to 13.4 unless Pat or Giannis, you think you can get this in before Monday?
Yeah, I might start on
No
it.
way.
Done by then.
Do you want me to assign it to you, Pat, or you want to pick it up later?
I'll pick it up once I get to it.
What's that?
I'll pick it up once I get to it, if I get to it.
Okay. I'll just move it then and not assign it for now. Key set pagination. I think I saw one of you verified it. Oh, closed it. Thank you. Partitioning. Close. Thank you. Rake task.
Yeah, that one is going to be reviewed this week, but I wound up splitting it into two MRs because it was a little bit more complicated than I thought. So we'll see how long the reviews take, but it might still be able to get it in.
Okay. Yeah, and this one, there's still some discussions going on about PG repack, and I think once Andreas gets back, Pat, you and he can talk about it with Jose to figure out what's the best path forward to make sure we do the automatic reindexing the right way in the most manageable way. Because I know there's some concerns about monitoring either solution that we've talked about, but it'd be nice to get some kind of solution going forward so we can reclaim that space. So yeah, once we wrap up this rake task, we can close out that issue, even if we take a different route, right? So, and then database guides under the database directory.
Jokingly, I'm in panic mode with the metrics. So everything I have will go to reviews and the metrics. So if I have some time, I will do that. We know that this is not a top priority in a way, but if I have some time, I will. This is a lot of labor to move things and invalidate all links, etc. It's not anything about. You don't need a PhD.
Yeah. Should we just move it now so you can focus
I
on
will move it. No. I will do a cleanup on Friday morning together with setting my away status.
Okay. So a couple things came up yesterday from the Postgres checkup report. There's still some concerns about the growth of the CI builds, and I know we have some related issues that aren't our direct responsibility. There's the hard delete issue, and I believe that's on the continuous integration team. I commented on that one. The events table, primary keys at 40% for the Infor, which isn't pressing, but it's an ongoing concern. I guess my question there was, if do you all think we can get any events table work in next milestone if our primary focus is on container registry, or is that too much splitting our focus as a team?
If you want my opinion, we should focus also on the events, even if we start. So we should also focus a little bit and prepare. So events table is double the size of audit events, and maybe triple the number of rows. I don't remember. But maybe we should start with the access patterns and make sure at least some of the work is done so that we are ready.
Okay.
Personally, so I think that this will go above the namespaces, for example, issue. So even though we have these namespaces, offering namespaces without a parent, this was an old issue. We moved it at some point, but maybe it will go. If you have me doing something, maybe it's better for me to identify as patterns for events table, etc.
Josh wanted that under, oh, we already have it here. I put it on twice. Okay. Pat, do you have any concerns about looking at both of those for the next milestone?
No, I think that's good because I don't really know that all three of us can be working on the container registry, or that would be helpful anyways. So
seems like there's a lot of analysis still going on there too, and not a ton of actionable change up front. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Craig, I would like just to add that for my analysis, I created a new issue based on some queries I did and the report from Nikolai that I think we will run again the PG repack. I believe we need to discuss with Andreas in the future what happened there, because I still see a lot of bloat, and at the moment the extension on the estimate is telling us that there is nothing to be done. So I think perhaps we need to adjust something there. But yeah, most probably we'll execute another repack because we need to reduce at least 1 terabyte of this database, or 700 gigabytes, okay?
Wow, okay. All right. And you're going to catch up with Andreas next week when he's back on that one. All right. Okay. We kind of covered some of the goals for this week. So the work that Giannis is doing. What else? What are the plans for this week? What are we going to try to accomplish other than wrapping up 13.3?
One note on the database instrumentation. Whatever MRs I will have ready, I will pass them to you, Patrick. So I will try to have, even if they don't make it for this release, I will try to have them there. So either in the middle of reviewing, I will send them to you to follow up on them. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Sounds good.
Okay. Are there any other goals outside of what we discussed and trying to wrap up issues for 13.3? All right. Well, if that's the case, any other topics covered today? All right. I will look at the events epic and mark a couple issues for 13.4 so that we have that lined up. It's probably just the there's a couple of analysis issues, or at least one in there, to identify what's the best access pattern and partitioning keys for events table. I think it's pretty straightforward. But also make sure that we have the primary key issue in 13.4 as well, so that we upgrade the integer on that one. So, all right.
And we should not take our mind out of audit events yet. So we should still remember that we have to wrap the migration and follow with the feature teams on the front-end update, for example, and anything else they need as a side tasks that we have.
Yeah, I think, I don't remember when they have that scheduled. They have it scheduled for this milestone. Let's see.
There were no updates and yeah, in the issue.
Okay, I will follow up on this one to see where we are. Yeah. All right, anything else? No. Don't forget, Friday's Friends and Family Day, so plan accordingly and have a nice long weekend. Talk to y'all later.
Bye-bye.